could be a good, like, it's homecoming week, so talking about homecoming in general.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. What is up, DMV basketball fans? Welcome into another Believe in DMV Hoops. I'm Matt Moderno. I'm pleased to be joined here by Daniel Marks, the general manager and NIL strategist of the Howard Bison. Daniel, thanks for coming on, man. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Matt. I'm glad to be here.
Congratulations on the promotion there. It's a super cool title, and in this changing landscape of college basketball, I think it's a super important position. And once again, Howard is on kind of the front lines and the cutting edge of this stuff. So really cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that and appreciate all the coverage you've given to the program and DMV hoops at large over the last few years.
Yeah, my pleasure. You guys are doing fun stuff, and I think there's going to keep going up and up. So hopefully people locally catch on, and we can pack Bird Gymnasium. So you guys have a bunch of stuff coming up here. Again, you guys are trying to be cool and cutting edge, and I think there's a lot of unique activities for not just Howard fans but basketball fans in general here in the area. So let's just kind of run through them in general. You mentioned the Bison Madness here. Is that what I got the name right?
Yeah, so Bison Madness is our kind of midnight madness event.
Mm-hmm.
It kicks off homecoming week at Howard. It's like the first official event of homecoming week, which goes Monday, starting today till Sunday. So that's going to start here in less than an hour. A great opportunity to engage the student body, have them get a first look at the team. There's a special concert performer as well, and just a nice touch point for the students to start familiarizing themselves with the roster and generate excitement heading into the season.
Yeah, that's a super good way to do it. I think just the changing landscape of college basketball, you guys have some key guys back, but newer students on campus and things like that, it's an opportunity for them to kind of learn it. People that are just getting into basketball there on campus, I think too, it just helps to know the faces and all that kind of good stuff too. Next event you guys have coming up is the homecoming meet and greet on Saturday. Any other kind of key details?
Yeah, so this is a great opportunity. We've done different things around homecoming Saturday in the past. We've done exhibitions, we've done lunches. So this is sort of a meet the team and an NIL fundraiser. Obviously the landscape of college athletics has changed quite considerably, and it's Howard Homecoming is a amazing week-long festivity of events. And so, the target audience for this is Howard alums who are going to be on campus and going to the yard and then go to the football game at 3:30. But for people in the DMV that haven't experienced the Howard Homecoming, from the vendors to the outfits to the food to the band to the games, being able to take part in this opportunity is a really, really, I think, unique thing for DMV basketball fans, and get a taste of HBCU culture and what makes Howard Homecoming so special. So that's Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Tickets are $50. They go directly to support the men's basketball program, and anyone that donates over $250 will get a Howard Jumpman piece of merchandise from this season yet. So, just another way to kind of touch people that are on campus that, there's expected to be 30 to 40,000 people in town for homecoming. So to be able to meet the team, and also an opportunity for our guys to network with the alumni at Howard. Like, these are some of the most successful people in medicine and law and economics and politics. So for them to be able to build relationships with them that can hopefully carry on throughout the years is another key component.
I think this is one thing you guys have done especially well, but honestly, a lot of the local programs have been great about this. It's really emphasizing the student part of student athlete. I say that with a lot of these guys, but Howard is a great degree to have, and you mentioned all those great connections you can make. So I think that's a great sales pitch, as you're recruiting these guys in the future, of just like, look at these types of events and opportunities. So great for the players, great for the fans, great for basketball community here in DC, and it's really just DC culture in general. So I'm glad you guys are doing stuff like that, and as many of them as we can, we'll help promote here on the show, because it's pretty cool. Another one you've got coming up that's near and dear to my heart is an open practice that you have coming up with the Capital City Go-Go. We're probably the podcast channel here that talks the most about the local G League affiliate. So nice to see the two worlds colliding here a little bit. For folks not familiar, that Capital City Go-Go is the Washington Wizards G League affiliate. They're going to be in for an open practice at Howard's Bird Gymnasium and then followed by kind of a meet and greet and networking opportunity for folks. It's also open to all Howard students. So it sounds like a great thing. Great thing you have going on October 31st from 11 to 1 p.m. Anything else, Daniel, you want to share about that one?
Yeah, just a really unique opportunity for us to partner with Monumental Sports and with the Go-Go. A big priority for Coach is he wants Howard to be a program not just for alumni, but for the entire DC community to kind of get behind. And Monumental Sports makes such a great impact, in the community with the district dribble efforts and refurbishing courts. And they've got, the Mystics, Go-Go, and Wizards just on the basketball front. So all of our professional men's and women's basketball teams in DC are under the Monumental Sports umbrella. So, Coach spoke at the Wizards Coaches Clinic last year. We've done some activations, HBC Unite at Wizards games. And this, was an idea that we've been kind of toying around with for the past 2 or 3 years with Amber Nichols, who was previously the GM of the Go-Go and now is, I believe, director of amateur scouting as her current title. And we just couldn't make the dates work in the past for them to do a scrimmage here. But last season, John Wall, the GM of the Go-Go, not the former Wizards.
Not that John Wall, yeah.
And Marshall Forney, the assistant GM, did an open practice at Morehouse College, which was their alma mater. And John approached us this year and was like, hey, we want to do something similar at Howard where we give the students a chance to see the team, but also importantly, network and learn from people on the business side, the basketball side, the content space. And, so we've been working together to try to bring this to life, and it'll be a really cool collaboration. The Go-Go, it's unfortunate, like the attendance for them hasn't been what I think it should be, having a G League team in DC. So for them to kind of expose themselves to our market, for our students to learn more about the, opportunities for internships, for tickets, for volunteer opportunities with Monumental Sports. And then, just for our players to be able to see what G League basketball looks like up close and be able to spend some time with those players will be a really valuable opportunity for them.
Yeah, if they can make connections with some of those players too that have been in their shoes, I think that's awesome for your current group of players too. And for any Howard students listening to this, if you're in the journalism school or just a sports journalism fan, always room to cover the Go-Go more and also cover the Howard program more. So if anybody wants to do that, we love hosting student-led podcast here on our Department of Hoops channel. So reach out to me directly, and maybe we can make something happen to help folks cover both of those teams a little bit more here. Yeah, John Wall's doing great stuff with that team, and you guys are doing really cool, innovative stuff with your team, like I mentioned. So nice to see you guys coming together for something that I've never seen anybody do locally. So I think this is neat, and hopefully the first of many opportunities like this, because it's just you don't see it much. Any idea on the kind of the names, faces you'll have around from the Monumental side of things?
Just looking at the Wizards kind of training camp guys that they had in, Skal Labissiere, Kadari Richmond, Jameer Watkins and Sharif Cooper on two ways, as well as Vukcevic. I would personally think Vukcevic would probably be more with the parent team based on how he played last year. But, those are some names of guys that were just in college last year, high major. Jonathan Pierre, I believe, from Belmont.
Out of Belmont. Keyshawn Gilbert, Iowa State.
Yeah, so like we've had a lot of guys that are, multiple year college guys, older guys, some mid-major guys that, our guys can like relate to and learn from. Alondas Williams, another guy that's kind of fought his way, onto the NBA roster
It's on the cusp, yeah.
I'm not right on that border. And so just, and then, John and Cody Topper's a good friend of mine. I've known Cody since I worked in the G League about 7 years now. And, he's like always an open book and just super helpful to young coaches and people, wanting to get in the business. So he's going to have some of our student managers coaching on the bench with him and doing stats, and they'll do, a PA announcing for the game. Like it'll be a really student immersive experience for our program. And that's one thing that's really unique about us is Coach Blakeney doesn't turn away any interested student managers. So we had 124 interested people show up to our student manager meeting. We don't have like 124 that are around every day, but there's a sizable number of that 124 that contribute, whether it's helping with team meals, helping at practice, rebounding for players, keeping stats, doing social media. So it's a really neat program. He calls it the best incubator of young Black sports talent
Sure.
in America. And we've had people go to USA Basketball, ESPN, sports marketing firms, the NFL, WNBA, and so for the go to want to be able to invest in those students really means a lot to coach in the program.
Yeah, just making those connections is so huge in any industry, but especially sports. Relationships are a huge part of this, and that's awesome. I think the folks learning from Cody will be particularly well suited because I think he's as creative as anybody out there, just like your coaching staff as well. So that's really exciting. I look forward to being there in person and seeing some of this too. Maybe I'll learn a few things along the way here too, which is pretty cool. And shout out to the players for getting to do that too, because I think again going to Howard is a choice to be able to make these connections early on. So I think that's it's good to see that pay off for them. Another really cool thing I think you guys have going on is just sort of the way you brand and market your program. You had this anime themed schedule that recently released, which I think got a lot of positive buzz, which was cool to see. But again, just kind of being ahead of the curve. But who comes up with these ideas, Daniel? Is that you? Is that Coach? Is it just other people in the program?
I would say it all starts with Coach Blakeney. I mean, he is a visionary type of thinker and very much an outside the box thinker. So everything he does with the program, he wants people to look at it and say, okay, this is something we want to emulate, or how can we do this for ourselves? So, in terms of, the way we market the team, the way we engage in the community with our social justice activism, the types of people that we bring in and hire. He hired Tremel Rags, who was a journalist from the Washington Post, to be an assistant coach, and brought in me from the NBA in a strategy role initially that's kind of evolved into this GM role. Will McKinley, our creative director, spent a number of years with Monumental Sports, and the anime was really, kind of his brainchild in terms of executing and designing and that. And I think, it turned out really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not an anime person, but like seeing all the guys in cartoon form and some of the references sprinkled throughout, it was just really neat. And to see the level of appreciation and recognition it got on social media for Will and the social team was really cool.
Just from being around enough college athletes over the years, I'm sure there's a couple of guys on the team that are anime guys. So seeing themselves.
OC Okojis are probably our biggest. There's a couple others that are pretty into it too, but I know OC is like very, very into anime.
Yeah, so that was probably as cool as it gets for someone like him. You guys have also done a lot of cool stuff with the Mecca Society and being able to have like donors have access to team gear and exclusive stuff like the Howard themed Jason Tatum shoes from Jordan Brand and things like that. So I don't know. I got to get myself some swag this year too and get in on the donations to the team because that's just a cool opportunity that you guys do as well. Just on the basketball front, this team is going to be really exciting. I think you guys finished second in voting in the preseason MEAC poll for first place votes. I think you could make a case that given the success you've had, a first place finish is definitely a reasonable likelihood as well. Healthy Bryce Harris comes back this year, which is exciting because he's just such a fun basketball player to watch. You got Cam Gillis, Cedric Taylor, a lot of these guys. I mean, I could just rattle off, there are a dozen names here. But how are you guys feeling internally about this group? What's the buzz like with the program going into the season?
Yeah, I think we like the group. I think it's a good character group and a lot of guys that wanted to be at Howard and chose specifically to want to be here. I think in terms of what we're going to look like, the jury's still out because we had 12 newcomers and only 4 returners, and of those 4 returners, Isaiah Brown missed the whole season last year. And then Osi Okoji and Bryce Harris, I think, played a combined 9 or 10 games last year. And then Calvin Robbins, who was an amazing story, kind of walked onto the team late last summer and then ended up making all freshman MEAC team, is like the guy that had the most returning minutes from last season. So, we have some familiar faces, but a lot of it's going to be, new and trying to incorporate pieces. But, Cedric Taylor from Morehouse has given us problems the last 2 years when we played them, and, really skilled, 3-4 versatile wing, can do a little bit of everything. Travell Bryson, junior college transfer, has been really exciting, very athletic, kind of a highlight real type of player. Cam Gillis from Lehigh, Sidwell friends background. We've had some good luck with the Sidwell guys with Jelani and Elijah Williams in the past. So continuing that tradition, and really excited about the group overall. It's we're gonna get tested right away. We've got Missouri coming to Burr Gymnasium to open the season, which was an amazing thing to have happen, and we would love to see the DC community and the DMV basketball people come out. It's a historic day for an SEC school to open at a MEAC school. That doesn't happen. Usually it's the other way around. And, Coach Gates and Coach Blakeney have the same mentor, Dr. Joe Carr. And Dr. Carr helped arrange this home and home. And, we played Missouri last year and it was a competitive game, and really just a great opportunity to see an SEC team, an NCAA tournament team at Burr. So we really want to encourage people to come out and come support the team. I think we have some of the most affordable season tickets anywhere in the country. Our courtside season tickets for 16 home games are $350 for the season.
Yeah,
so
you can't beat that.
You get some gear, you get some food. Like it's affordable, it's fun with the band, the cheerleaders. Like it's a great atmosphere. So November 3rd is going to be fantastic, and we'd love to make this a program that people from all over the DMV want to come see and want to come support.
There's a lot of transports here in the DC that come in that don't have affiliations with any of the local teams, and it'd be cool to be able to have some folks adopt Howard along the way. And for anyone that's just never been to Burr, it's just a cool place. Like, it's got the old school feel to it, and it's super intimate. And a game like that, the gym's going to be rocking. Again, that's on November 3rd against Missouri. That's likely a tournament team from a loaded SEC, coming off probably the best conference year a conference has ever had in college basketball. So they're going to be really good again. So kudos to them for wanting this kind of game against a team that's made several tournaments over the last handful of years with you guys on the Howard side. And then shout out to you guys for wanting that smoke early in the season. You mentioned all those new faces. There are a lot of coaches that are scheduling these cupcake games early in the year, and you're saying, no, bring on literally the toughest teams we can schedule right out of the gate, multiple years in a row. And I think that's really cool, and it says a lot about the way you guys are building this program. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think since I've been here, my first ever game was at Kentucky.
Wow.
Then the year after, we hosted Hampton, which is a heated rivalry game. Then opened at Kansas, who was preseason #1 last year, and then hosting Missouri. So there's been great tests, and I think just for those of you who have never been to a game at Burr, I have a buddy of mine who's a big basketball fan. He's got Wizards tickets. He goes to Georgetown, AU, whatever basketball game's going on, he's going. And, said he was at our Cincinnati game a couple of years ago. And he's like, this is really just a different atmosphere than any basketball game because of the gym. It's so intimate, and the noise and the band. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you haven't been, please come by, consider season tickets, support us. It means a lot to the guys to see the stands full. And I wasn't at the GW Georgetown game this weekend, but seeing that kind of raucous environment and sold out, we'd love to have that, at all of our games, and would love to see as many of you guys there. And, coaches, wants our program to be really accessible and really, an outlet for DC basketball junkies to come and have a great evening.
I think accessible is such a great word because it's an opportunity to be right down in the action. It's almost like a playoff atmosphere, every time the gym's, loaded up, and that's really cool. And you can be kind of like a part of this program, essentially. Like, you can feel your impact that you have on these games by being in the stands. So that's awesome. Also get to play Duke at Cameron this year, so homecoming for Coach Blakeney. That's another loaded game. So I'm excited for him just to get to go back home and take the team there, because I got to go to Cameron for the first time last year, and that's an experience. So I'm sure that's something playing there those players will never forget too. So that's really cool.
Yep. No, we're excited to be in that Brotherhood MTE, and we've practiced there the last couple of years when we play NC Central, and basketball junkies being in Cameron Indoor Stadium is like nothing else. Yeah.
Daniel, I kept you longer than I meant to. I know you got stuff to run to, but Thank you for doing this. Any last things you want to share with basketball fans here in the area before we close this out?
Yeah, I would say just connect with our program. Like I said, coach wants to be accessible and he wants to be fan friendly. Like you know, if you want to observe a practice, if you want to come to a game, if you want come to our meet and greets, if you have questions, if you're looking to partner with the team, if you're a local business and you're looking for student athletes, we've got great student athletes on our team, and just stay connected to us. Like we do more community service, I think, than any program in the country, and we're always looking for strategic partnership opportunities, like we have with Monumental Sports and the Go and with some of our social justice activations. And so we are responsive. We are here, and follow us on social media, HU Men's BB, across all platforms, and we hope to see you at Bird Gymnasium this season.
Love that. Yeah, I think from a brand ambassador standpoint, any of these guys on this Howard team, you just bring in character guys. So I think any business would be well suited to partner with these guys. So that'd be awesome. Daniel, this is exciting stuff. I look forward to doing more of this throughout the season with you guys. Getting a player or two on here, maybe to preview the season, would be awesome before that November 3rd game hosting Missouri. But thank you again for the time. Good luck with all these activities, and I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
All right, you know the drill, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button for us, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, and go out and see a Howard game. Do me a favor, and I promise you won't regret it. So until next time, we'll catch y'all later.